Erika Sanzi is joining us on the guest line. She is Director of Outreach for the group Defending Education. Erika, thanks for taking the time to join us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You know, I thought that DEI was over. President Trump talked about it here in Missouri. Governor Mike Kehoe has made that a huge thing that said, guys, we are done with this whole DEI thing. But it feels like from your articles that I'm reading, if you're in higher education, DEI is alive and well in our universities, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that it's pretty alive and well in higher ed and in K-12. What is different, however, is that this administration, instead of pushing this on schools, rewarding this, even demanding and requiring it in certain contexts, this administration is saying, you know, we're looking, we're digging through to see what you're doing. And if you are, particularly if you're, you know, breaking the law because you're treating people differently based on race in publicly funded programs, there are going to be consequences. So on the one hand, it's definitely not gone because what people are aware of is the tip of the iceberg, I think. And there's just, you know, it took many years to get where we are, and it's going to take time to sort of pull this out root and branch. But it is, what is different is that the prior Department of Justice and the prior Department of Education, they weren't just not addressing these illegal practices in K-12 and in higher education, but they were promoting, encouraging, and even, you know, sort of demanding them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're in a much different place than we were. But as with any huge problem that has taken a long time to create, it is not something that can be unwound, you know, with the strike of a pen or with an executive order because even now what we see is that with the actions taken by the administration, some states are immediately falling in line and some states are sort of part of the resistance and saying they're not going to comply. So this is going to be a long process.
I would assume when you see a state like Missouri, you're seeing a state that is going to be more of falling in line. But with J.B. Pritzker over in Illinois, he seems to be making whatever case he can, whatever Donald Trump says, he's going to say the exact opposite. Is that kind of what you're seeing around the country? Is the more blue states are pushing back and protecting their DEI scholarships? I mean, to say over 600 universities are still handing out these DEI-focused scholarships, that's a lot of willful disobedience, let's say.
Yeah, what we're seeing are responses by either state attorneys general or by state education commissioners or by, you know, university trustees. And to your point, we are definitely seeing a pattern that in the very blue states, it's resistance and we will not comply. And then you see other states where, because their elected officials already are on board with this and agree with this, you know, they're happy to fall in line. In some cases, they kind of already were behaving in ways that were basically aligned with the law anyway. And then you have others where I think that there's actually quite a bit of debate on how to respond and what to do. Maybe they're more purple states, or maybe they just have elected bodies where there's more dissension or debate among the people. Whereas like I live in Rhode Island, which is also a very solidly blue state. And I was not surprised to see right out of the gate that my state has decided to resist. And what's interesting is it's not really that everybody has a true understanding of what's going on, what's the criticism, what programs are they raising concerns about. It's almost like we don't care about the facts on the ground. We are part of the resistance because we don't like this administration. And that's unfortunate.
There seems to be some of that pushback of just, hey, whatever you're going to say, I'm going to say the exact opposite, just because I want to push back on you. Erika Sanzi is joining us. She's Director of Outreach for the group Defending Education. I was encouraged to see, though, in the state of Missouri, you only listed the University of Missouri. It seems like of all the different universities that we have, most of them aren't going down this road, but Southern Illinois University over in across the river in Carbondale seems to be putting all kinds of those programs on the table. What can we do if we want to help support this effort to stop it? What can the public do to be a part of it?
I mean, I think that one important thing is to make sure that the people that are in the positions of elected office understand that their constituents care about this and are paying attention to this and are even willing to sort of mobilize and potentially change their votes on this. Now, one of the reasons why in a place like where I live, even though if you ask the average voter, let's just pick an issue and say their opinion on, males who self-identify as female being allowed to play in sports against girls and or use the facilities that are supposed to be single sex.
Okay.
That's extremely unpopular. If you ask 80% of the people that you talk to, regardless of their party affiliation, are going to say that's wrong. The problem is they don't realize that that's part of what's baked into these policies that are now, sort of coming into the spotlight, and now that the Trump administration is going after. So they say, we want to fight him. We're part of the resistance. We're not going to comply. And what they don't realize is they're actually fighting now for something that they don't even think is right. And that's sort of a frustrating part. So, I mean, again, like in a place like Missouri, like I'm sure that there are pockets here and there of things. And again, our list is not exhaustive. This is just what we sort of like, we take a look, we put up what we find, and then we add to it as we find more. So this isn't everything, but this is a good snapshot. The other thing that's important that I want people to realize,
real quick,
is, well, I would just say that some of the scholars, the really bad programs are the ones where they are discriminating on the basis of race and sex, because that's illegal. Some of the other ones are like, well, if you're a good ally to this cause, those ones are a little bit more annoying and maybe inappropriate, but they don't violate Title VI. So there is a difference there.
Well, Erika, we appreciate you taking the time. We appreciate you highlighting this. And I love the state of Rhode Island. It's very beautiful. So
Thanks.
I love it. Newport is one of my favorite places to visit. So thanks for taking the time to be on the air with us, and we'll keep an eye on this.
Excellent. Thanks for having me.
That's Erika Sanzi. I'm Mike Elam in for Mark Reardon on 97.1 FM Talk.